change of pace.
Welcome to the Change of Pace podcast. This is Rohan. Today I'm joined by Sahil and Sai. We have a packed episode for you guys today. Let's start off. It's surprising we haven't recorded since the NBA Finals are done. But Sai, congratulations to your Oklahoma City Thunder. How about we just get your thoughts right now? First championship in Oklahoma, obviously. First championship of your lifetime. Hopefully, many more to come. How does it feel, dude? Join the party.
Yeah. I did want to, first quick disclaimer, shout out to Tyrese Haliburton. Sorry, it's really tough that he got injured at the beginning of the game. That could have been a classic game. Unfortunately, didn't get there. OKC kind of dominated the second half, especially the end of the third and beginning of the fourth quarter. And then that was really the game. Um, Really excited, man. Yeah, like I don't know. It didn't feel like this would be our year personally before the season started. It felt like gradual progression, second round. Maybe we're a conference finals team this year, maybe a finals team. But Boston was looking too good throughout the season. We saw how good Cleveland looked. Um, didn't end up playing either of them, and Indiana was a really formidable opponent, and this was a fantastic series. Um, but I've just been ecstatic ever since. I was stressing so hard at the end of that game, the fourth quarter, when Mathurin was, kind of carrying, getting a run, getting as many free throws, and keeping the game close, kind of towards the end. But our defense closed it out. Shea won Finals MVP as expected, and it really just kickstarted what could be a potential run of dominance for this team. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to be winning championships every year, but this is a solidified big three, I think, with a lot of room to grow and a lot of pieces that I trust Sam Presti to really maneuver around them. Have to, shout out a lot of guys like Shea, obviously Finals MVP. J-Dub really proved himself as a real second option in this league, probably top 25 player now. And Chet,
Oh, wow.
I think for playing about like 100 games in his NBA career really impressed me, especially defensively. This game seven, he was fantastic, especially in the fourth quarter. Was really kind of able to lock up the paint and had 5 blocks this game. And, he's had a really bad offensive series, but defensively throughout the playoffs, no matter how bad his offense has gone, he's been phenomenal. Lou Dort hit a crazy moonball three near half court to, kind of started the run, the OKC Avalanche or the Thunderstorm, as you call
That's when
it.
you knew. That's when you knew
Yeah.
that it was okay. Okay,
It
so
felt
yeah.
like it was going our way after that one. But then right after Siakam hits a three, so you never know. But it was a crazy he has been like one of the glue guys of our team. Um, our defensive kind of identity kind of centers around his style of play and his physicality, and he's been really important. And I didn't see that come in when he came into our team, so I'm really happy about that. Obviously, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Hartenstein, before this season started, huge additions, and they really proved their worth. And then other guys, Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Joe. I'm just ecstatic about this team and its future.
Yeah. Um, is there anything specifically you guys want to cover about the game outside of Tyrese Haliburton injury?
Well, yeah, we should definitely talk about the injury. I think it was crazy how much it reminded me of KD in 2019 because KD had 11 points in 12 minutes, and it just felt like you could feel his difference. This was a game 7 too, so it hurt even more when he got injured, but
Yeah.
he came out crazy. Though when he made his first two threes, right? And in the start of that game, OKC wasn't shooting any threes, and it really felt like the math was catching up to them at this point. So he hits two threes. He misses his third one, and right off an offensive rebound, he's taking a step back and he reshoots it, and it's just like all net. And you kind of felt like, okay, like he's ready. He's talking to the crowd too. Like he didn't look scared at the moment at all. It was so sad to see him go down, and like the fact that you knew exactly what the injury was, and to see him so sad, like that visible frustration, that visible sadness, kind of same thing happened with Tatum too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think we all had the same reaction of like you see Patrick Beverly's reaction. He was like, "No, no, no." That's literally what I was doing
I
when I
mean,
was watching that game.
maybe I had a different perspective, but it was a very similar play to where he got hurt in game five, where he fell kind of driving on that decel step that people are
Mhm.
saying has kind of like been the leading cause of Achilles injuries nowadays. For me, I didn't think it was the Achilles at first. I just thought it was another calf injury, and he aggravated it to an extent where he's like I mean, I thought the anger and the annoyance was really just the fact that it was a game 7 and he got hurt again. And then
Mm.
looking on the replay that ESPN showed a million times, you could really see
Yeah.
the Achilles, like the pop, and it was tragic. Like I did not expect that. I thought he was, going to be out for the game, maybe. And he can, I mean, he's shown some resiliency, like coming back from injury last couple games as well. So I thought it wouldn't be that big of a factor. But to be the Achilles after those replays and like they kind of confirmed it at halftime, seeing his dad cry, like just tragic.
Mhm.
The worst case outcome, and it's really unfortunate that we had 3 major Achilles injuries just in this playoffs alone. I think 5 in the regular season plus the playoffs. Like that's
It's 7, dude. It's 7. I was
seven,
actually I wanted to touch on that because of the Tyrese injury. So there have been 7. If you want me to go over them, it's James Wiseman, Isaiah Jackson, DeJounte Murray, Miami guard Drew Smith, and then in the playoffs, obviously, this is where people really started taking notice, right? It was first Damian Lillard, and then Jason Tatum, and then Tyrese Haliburton. Um, and Adam Silver said that like everyone has started to catch on to this. Like, if you have a calf strain, just don't play. Yeah, regardless if it was a game. Like, people are even saying you shouldn't have played that game 7, which I think is stupid.
Mhm.
But yeah, Adam Silver said they're gonna start using like AI to detect injuries. I don't know, ahead of time or look at patterns. Like
What is Allen Iverson gonna do?
oh, go no. Yeah. Yeah. It could be interesting. But it's definitely concerning that 3 like legitimate superstars got hurt in consecutive rounds, practically. All number 0, weirdly enough. But yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want to. I don't want to stray too much off the finals, but it does feel like there is kind of a dilemma here for the NBA because the 82 game season and the physicality of the playoffs is definitely catching up to the players. But the players also, some people say reduce shorten the season, but that's how the players get paid so much money is because the season is that long and all that revenue. Since 2012, players have been running 200 miles more per season.
yeah.
So the pace is increasing, and with the physicality, it's just like it's sad, but it makes sense why there's more injuries than there ever was before. And the Achilles is one that doctors still don't know exactly how to deal with it. Like ACLs, we've seen people come back in like 6, 7 months, which is really impressive. Like in the 90s, you wouldn't have seen that. Um, I don't know what they can do because, like Sai, you said the decel step, the negative step, that's just a part of basketball now, though. That's how you blow by someone, and I don't know how you can take that out the game anymore. I mean, yeah, you can like youth trainers don't necessarily need to like make sure that's in everybody's game, but it's almost too important. It feels like to take it out. I don't know. At this point, it just feels like dumb luck. But every championship run has luck. That's just how it
For
is.
sure. Yeah, I don't think this necessarily makes like the OKC run an asterisk or anything. It
Oh,
just takes away from a really potentially amazing game 7, the one we haven't
Yeah,
had in 9 years since 2016, and kind of takes the air out of it. Like that's the main storyline coming out of this game when it could have been OKC or Indiana's coronation of the best team in the NBA. And
yeah,
it really sucks. Like Indiana had an amazing playoff run led by Tyrese, who had this amazing clutch run. And then when he had this chance to show up where he was showing up in the beginning, he went 3 for 4 from 3, 9 straight points to, really give Indiana the momentum that they needed to start off this game. And he hasn't started off these games in OKC well at all. So I thought, having this start was really gonna inspire Indiana and keep this game close, which coming into I didn't think Indiana stood as much of a chance as if Tyrese wasn't going to play well, and he did. And then having this is really just disappointing and can really affect. Like we thought this Pacers team could run the East next, couldn't run it back next year, just get it to the finals again because of the Tatum injury. Like Milwaukee's kind of hurt, even though not too much of a big team out there, but
yeah.
now it's down to really like 4 teams left in the East who can really compete for getting to that final spot at this point.
Dude, Pistons are gonna have home court advantage next year. That's crazy.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
like
you mean the Atlanta Hawks? You mean?
Atlanta Hawks too. Yeah.
You
Um,
never know.
Yeah, about that. I mean, it was annoying that even the playoffs, every game was like 1 day apart. Like you had 1 day of rest. It felt so unnecessary. And I feel like in the past, it hasn't been like that. But this year, even the conference finals, you were having games every other day, which is like mind-boggling to me. I do you guys know why? Though, is that something to do with the TV deal, or did they do something like where they could like started late? Or I don't even
Whenever we have these kind of questions, I always just assume that there's something to do with money,
yeah,
and like
100%.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
think
feel, yeah.
I was gonna say I think the two things that I'll remember most from this finals and this just the championship run in general, is I think Indiana's just ridiculous run, just defying logic like at every turn.
Mhm.
Um, and OKC's defense. They won because of their defense,
Yeah.
right? They were all over probably one of the best defenses we've seen in the past 15, 20 years. Um, and every time in pivotal closeout games, they always came to play. Against Denver, they held Denver to 93 points, forced 23 turnovers. Against Minnesota, 94 points, 21 turnovers. Game 7, Indiana, 91 points, 23 turnovers. So the moment that when the moment comes, they turn that dial up and they're ready to go. And I think that even the fact that SGA, the head of the snake, he averages 1.9 steals and 1.5 blocks in the finals, like that's some Dwayne Wade stuff, you know. Um, I think that's what I remember most about this OKC team is it's the defense. The offense is shaky, but it doesn't matter when you get 30 points off turnovers, you know.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about this team is like there's so much room to improve offensively, and these guys are young. Of course, this is the second youngest team to win a championship, I think, since the Blazers, and for the fact that they can improve so much on that end of the floor while maintaining their defense. Yeah, agreed. This was probably one of the best defenses in modern day history for the NBA, and then especially in creating turnovers and using that to advantage in the fast break, and then also that turnover differential. Like throughout the regular season and the playoffs, they have the highest turnover differential of any team by far, and that's really
Mhm.
how they've been able to win these games. And that's the formula for this series. It was basically other than game one, whoever's won the turnover battle has dominated the series. And especially this game, you really felt the difference. In that third quarter, Indiana had 9 turnovers, and that's what flipped the game. OKC was able to get to a 13-point lead at the end of the third. And then from there, it ballooned to 21 until Indiana kind of made a half-hearted comeback towards the end. But it was really that defense and the steals they were able to generate 14 steals, and a lot of them just being live ball turnovers. Like um, there was one with TJ McConnell, like where they were able to double, like hard double him because of how he had that own 12-0 personal run where Indiana wasn't scoring anything for a quarter or for 6, 7 minutes, essentially at the end of the third. And OKC was like, finally, we're just gonna double, yeah, use his size to his disadvantage and overwhelm him, get a fast break layup there. Another time, just like stripping Pascal Siakam. Like, there's a lot of plays where they were just able to get out in the fast break and create opportunities, and that's been the recipe for success this entire postseason, and that's the reason they won the championship.
Yeah.
Man, it's so sad that the NBA season's done, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when I saw the draft was on Wednesday, I was like it's going so fast, and now like what
We had
Yeah,
four trades in
like
between, which is so
4 days,
crazy.
5 days, yeah, 4 days.
I feel like I didn't really get to soak in the
Hmm.
OKC win at
It
all.
was
Like,
anticlimactic, bro. Like after Tyrese got hurt, it was just like it felt like all the air it just kind of been like just like
Exactly.
get out of the finals. Like it
And it
really,
sucks
really
because
felt
like
like regular season
I
game.
was trying to like listen to after every OKC win, I'm like trying to hype myself without listening to all these podcasts. Like I just go,
And all of them are just about
and
Tyrese.
all of them are just like Tyrese getting hurt, and it's like it's tough. And
That's
obviously,
why
like
you feel like kind of like not dip. Like you still feel good that they won and they
and
deserve
like
to win. It's just
also public sentiment is like they've been kind of against OKC.
oh yeah, I know everyone hates them.
Especially when the underdog story of Indiana is right there for like
Yeah,
to end the watchability. I gotta admit, like I think OKC's defense is very watchable. I think Indiana's offense is very watchable, as the like compared to OKC's offense for sure. So I,
yeah,
I get why people root for Indiana, and the fact that Tyrese got hurt, like it's just a recipe where like no one really respects this title, or at least the general fan. Obviously, like the people who know ball and like know the defense that OKC has. I still think they would have won this game personally if Tyrese was healthy. It
yeah,
would have been close, but the
I
fact
mean,
that
at
it's
the end
right
of the day,
there.
they won 68 games and they won the championship. So it's
Yeah.
like, if anybody wants to that they didn't deserve it, it's like, well, they won 68 fucking games. I don't know who was the last team to do that.
Hmm.
The 739 Warriors, right? So it's like, yeah, their defense is so good that I understand that the Tyrese injury took everything out of the air. I just wish there was like give us a week before the draft, like
Yeah.
at least let's think about it for a week. I think people just didn't get a chance to get like because the immediate reaction is the Tyrese stuff, and then you sit on it a couple days, and then that's when you really get into like, okay, that OKC defense was crazy. Now we're just talking about draft stuff, which we'll
Right.
get into as well.
Right. Like we got the KD trade day of game 7 of
Yeah,
the NBA
That
Finals.
was crazy, dude.
Right. Like,
What
and then right after we get, I mean, we're gonna talk about these trades, but the parade happened Tuesday. Obviously, great day for OKC fans. I've been watching every clip, and it
Dude,
seems
no one
like the
even knew
best
the
time ever.
parade happened. Like, I feel like the parade was so like it went under the radar, and then I just see.
I didn't
I think,
I didn't know what the date was until I
yeah,
logged on Twitter and I saw some clips and I was like, oh shit, that was today.
Yeah, like I feel like
yeah.
they announce it or something. Like I feel like they get a public announcement that the parade's gonna be on X day, and then I don't know if they probably did it. I just
I'm
didn't
sure
see.
OKC people knew like it was coming. Like
Yeah.
if they won, it's gonna be on Tuesday. Get ready, get their city ready for it. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I thought it looked pretty electric. Obviously
Yeah.
a young team. They look like they were really having fun out there. Jada had his first drink or something.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That was funny.
Yeah, that's
Jay
funny.
was like finally got rid of the nonchalant personality, just going wild with the fans. That was really fun.
Dude,
Um,
Shea looked so hungover on Good
yeah,
Morning America, or whatever that
I
show
saw
he was
that,
on.
dude.
Yeah.
He looked bad.
Did you
I was
guys
like,
see
I've been
that?
there, bro. I know how you feel, man.
Did you guys see that Marcus Thompson wrote an article about how in the locker room they looked like it didn't feel like a championship. They were all, it was like very, very like chilled out vibes. Like they weren't really celebrating that much. That was
'Cause they
weird.
don't know how to they don't know how to
Yeah.
uncork the champagne.
Yeah.
It was
So
funny. Like I remember, there was like that vote. I think it was the GQ had like like those like videos where they're like, what things do you have on you at all
Top
times?
10 things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then Chet was like, he had a ski goggles, so he had like whenever they won the championship, he'd have something to cover himself from champagne. So I thought it was really funny. He's like 22 and having to teach like everyone older than him how to open a champagne bottle just because he's been manifesting it for so
Oh,
long.
yeah. It's the ski goggles and the cornbread, right?
Yeah, and the oxtail.
Facts. Yeah. Do you want to talk about Miles Turner for like a
Sure.
second? Or like
Who do you
our
want to talk about?
I don't know how much we've looked in the Pacers offseason. I'm seeing a lot of like I feel like Miles Turner really cost himself the bag this series. I don't know. I don't know what the Pacers are supposed to do,
I
right?
disagree. I mean,
What?
players are who's really overdone expectations when it comes to playing the Thunder? Maybe
I don't know. I feel
TJ
like Pascal
McConnell.
had a decent. He was
Yeah,
fine.
I know
Like
for sure. Pascal, TJ. That's really been the only two.
Nemhard had a bad series, but like you've seen
Hard.
Nemhard perform consistently in the playoff. I feel like Miles Turner has like was really really bad.
Yeah, I mean he was bad for sure. I thought defensively he was still pretty good. As a
Okay, I don't know.
like you can definitely
I
like get
just
him out
don't
of his
know.
position or targeting him
A
that way.
little overrated defensively to me. I don't
But
know.
his block,
I think you
he was the
do.
leading shot blocker in the playoffs, and I thought his impact in the paint was definitely felt. He locked down Chet a lot of possessions that we needed.
And Chet's also not a great offensive player though.
That's true. Yeah.
Like, that's more of a
I
Chet
think
stuff.
you do have to give him something because Indiana doesn't have another big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and they're kind of in a weird spot though with the Tyrese injury too. It's kind of similar to the Celtics where it's like, how much are you willing to pay in luxury tax before you're like, okay, we're not competing. I think they might look at trading Siakam. I would think about it
I
just
don't get
because
it.
I
I've
would
seen
think about it.
Wow.
people suggest that. I just don't know. I don't get it. I think that's
I
way
think
too
you
early.
sell high. I think you sell high. He's 31.
Over
So
one
when
year?
Tyrese,
It's like he's gonna be
no,
33 when Tyrese is back full time. I don't know.
That's like a
yeah, exactly. He's gonna be 33 when Tyrese back. He's gonna be making 50 mil. I, I don't know.
What is your team looking like when Tyrese is back though? Like it's
Well,
gonna
no,
look
that's the thing. Like,
legit.
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what's out there for Siakam, but I do think that
Yeah.
this is the highest value we'll ever get. And I think similar to Boston, I mean, Boston's making a bunch of weird moves just to get under the apron.
Yeah.
But I think that if you can get good value for him, I think that I mean that's what GMs have to do nowadays. It's kind of like think about the future, but also think about the current
this
state
is
of the
not a
team.
team that's in tax like problems though. They're under
Yeah,
the
the Celtics are
right
different because
now. Like they're not even close to
167.
the apron.
Yeah, I
the
don't
I
know.
just
Celtics are getting
I
rid of
just
guys who are like 38. Like Drew Holiday's gonna be 38 at the end of his contract,
yeah.
like 30 million a year. And I disagree with them wanting to trade Derek White and Jalen Brown. The Porzingis thing, he probably has fucking AIDS. Like I think it's kind of different just because the players in the Pacers, I think they're like I don't think there's any rush. Even with the Celtics, I didn't think there's that much of a rush. But especially with the
I
Pacers,
mean, the Celtics are like
like
they're in second apron hell though, right? They go a couple more seasons, they lose their picks, they lose their any
yeah.
like they can't trade anymore. So this is the time to get out. I don't see that for the Pacers. They're not close to the hard
so
cap.
so would you guys resign Miles too?
Yeah, I think just run it back when
I
Tyrese
don't
is
know about that. I
legit, and
think
then like retool with the draft picks you have.
I think retooling. My thing, what I didn't mention is, I think if they keep Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, regardless of the team they have around them, they're probably like close to title contenders. But with the Pacers, if you trade away Siakam, I don't know how close you're getting to the finals.
Yeah, I agree. Like
Like
this
Mm,
is a
that's
good
the difference
team.
to me.
Yeah, Siakam is their, I mean, maybe their best player. I mean, him and
Uh,
Tyrese are like right there, but in my opinion,
yeah.
he was the best player this series for sure. Um,
yeah. Even I mean, even last series, I feel like I don't know. I think Tyrese Haliburton is the engine that makes them
yeah,
go.
for
Like,
sure.
yeah, sure. Statistically, like in terms of consistency, Siakam could be better, but it doesn't matter. Both of them are necessary. Like that's the difference. So, and it's not like Pascal and Hallie are like superstar players. Like they're not Tatum or Brown level to me, or maybe like Hallie is not Tatum level, and Pascal Siakam is not Jaylen Brown level in my opinion. So I don't think those two guys are enough to get to like just like put them as a contender. So they need the supporting cast, and it's such a well built team. So I
Yeah,
think
I mean, these
really,
guys are some of them are under contract. Nemhard re-signed an extension. I think he's the guy who can really grow from Tyrese's absence. Just really take a ball handling opportunity. And I've
definitely.
always liked his point guard possessions. Obviously, not going to see that like in that last game because he's being guarded like by Lou Dort every possession and Alex Caruso and Case Walls. But in a regular setting, I think he can be a really good point guard for a good team.
I
And
hope it doesn't
I
turn
think
into
Mathurin, I think, is
defense.
another guy who can take that next step for them.
So they're at 167 mil right now. The first apron is 195.
Oh,
So it really, I don't know what type of deal that Miles is going to get. I don't think it'll be north of 30.
No.
But I will say he is a very attractive. I think he's a very attractive player for a lot of teams around the league, just because of floor spacing five who defends the rim is like Lakers fans have been praying to put him next to 80 for a long time. Like so many teams will want Miles, even though he at times looked a little suspect. So in that sense, they might have to either pony up some big money to him or sign and trade. Um, but yeah, that's interesting to look at. I'd probably resign him just because he's still 29.
Yeah.
Um, and he does feel important to what they do.
Yeah, I
It,
agree. I
looks
think
it
you don't
looks a
really
little
have
different
anything
out of
behind him at all. Like there's no
yeah.
infrastructure for a big guy at this point. I think
Did you
Jarris
guys
Walker
not think
and
that
Siakam, I guess,
did
like
was did anybody like I couldn't help laughing at the Thomas Bryant minutes in the finals when he came in, jacked a
yeah,
three, and then kept taking off the four. That was so because it's so obvious what was gonna happen because OKC was obviously gonna let him shoot. Nobody is stepping into a game seven for 20 seconds and hitting a three. I don't care how open you are. And it was just so
yeah.
funny
I
that
was
they
I was
let him
confused about Carlisle's decision. I felt like Siakam didn't play a
they
lot of
played. No,
minutes
he
at the end of
benched
the
like
third.
Emhard, Siakam.
Yeah, they
Might have
went
been
like an all bench
Neesmith.
lineup for like
It
five
was
minutes,
so
and then
like, what's
PJ
the
took it.
point? And what was it? Yeah, they went on a run. They cut it to four, and
Yeah,
then they benched Siakam or something stupid like that. Or they like I don't get. It doesn't make any sense. What are you resting for? Why is
exactly.
Ben Shepherd playing these like big minutes in the game seven? It doesn't make sense. So
his misses weren't even close
yeah,
either. He's hitting side of the backboard. I'm like, oh my god.
I thought
Um,
OB being bad this game too was kind of big for
that's
them.
huge,
Also,
dude.
like
That's
he's
huge.
been
Yeah,
really good for them in their wins, and the fact that he couldn't shoot this game, like you needed someone else to kind of create those, at least be somewhat of a shooter for them.
hey, Ben might have a big year next year, man. I don't know. I mean, he's
I
had some
like
games these playoffs, and I don't know, he's gonna get more shots up, I guess, with Tyrese out. Um, they might even
I thought
maybe
you were talking about
start
Shep
him.
for a second. I was like,
huh?
what? I
Oh
thought you
no, I'm
said,
talking about Mathurin.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, no, not Ben Shepherd. No. They could totally start Mathurin now. No.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you go Nemhard, Neesmith, Mathurin. I feel like that would make sense. Or like Mathurin.
Mathurin and Walker, Jarris Walker too was a. I thought they missed him for sure in the in
Yeah,
game seven. But yeah, Ben's on a team option, and so is Jarris Walker. So
yeah. And then I don't know when Wiseman's back, but if you don't get, if you, I'm totally joking. Um, okay. So you want to move on to the KD trade? Anything else you guys want to cover?
Well, I just wanted to say, like, what do we think about OKC's outlook? We talked about Indiana's season being over.
Yeah.
Their next season looks like. Next season, I think they bring everyone back. We saw what their draft they picked up. One guy in the first round, Thomas Sorber, and then a guy in the second. So really, it's just the same roster running it back, except they have two rookies now with Topic and Sorber coming in
Yeah.
for the frame. Do we think this is the easy favorite for next year, or since
yeah,
this wasn't like a convincing run that we kind of may have expected? What do you think?
There's not a
No, I
team
think
that I would think compares to them. So yeah, go
I,
ahead,
I,
Sai.
I think continuity is so underrated in the
Mhm.
NBA. I think that bringing back there's value in bringing back the same people. I was listening to Zach Lowe and he mentioned that like one guy they can look to in the future to trade if they need to for flexibility is Hartenstein, which
I think we
we
just
all
let him go. I don't even think we trade him, to be honest.
like in
Because
after his contract's up.
yeah, because we have a team option for the year after this year, and with
Okay,
that, that's when Chet's extensions will kick in after
yeah,
assuming we get him, we re-sign him this offseason, assuming we re-sign Shea for his massive extension this offseason, then we're gonna be like in cap hell, and iHeart like definitely doesn't have the minutes. That's why I think this Sorber pickup, which we can talk about later when we talk about the draft, is gonna be such a big one. Like he's a swing big who can really play make and defend, so he can kind of be that backup big. But yeah, I think iHeart and Dort are probably the guys who are like Caruso too, because we did re-sign him for 28th, right? I believe. So
God,
those are
this
the
Aaron
three.
Wiggins contract is so good.
That's a good
It
contract. The Isaiah Joe
it's
contract's a great
declining
contract.
too, and
Yep.
it's till 28, 29, and it's like it's 7 mil in 2028. That's
Wow.
ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Sam Presti is might be the GOAT.
And we still have picks, right? That's where the thing is. Like if Topic is a hit, you can get rid of a guy like
Oh, can you
um,
imagine if
yeah,
Topic is good, dude?
it's
He
crazy.
was
It's
supposed to be
awesome.
like a top three pick till they measured his wingspan. It was like 6'5" or something. Like that's
And
oh
he tore his ACL, but yeah.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think
Low also said something interesting. He
Mhm.
said that like OKC might be the only team that is okay with their draft picks being frozen for a little bit. You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
They have too many
Um,
guys already.
yeah,
I mean, I think Topic, speaking of, was like the first person in NBA history to win a championship after playing 0 minutes the entire season. So congrats to him. The literal
uh,
definition of getting an A while contributing nothing to the team
Wait,
project.
Wiseman didn't play any minutes in 2022.
Yeah, he did.
did he not?
He
No,
started the season.
no, he didn't. 2021, 22, he was out. He was out from the year before that. He never played.
Oh, but he wasn't a rookie, was he?
Oh, you said rookie?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, no, I mean, I think rookie, yeah. Or
Oh, you
maybe
said
maybe
rookie?
that's not the stat.
It's definitely it has to be rookie.
I also feel on a play on a coaching from a coaching not a coaching perspective, but I feel like OKC can get even better, especially offensively, even with the same group of guys. I think like even if we when you see how Mark Dagnall runs their ATOs, and every time they come out of a timeout, like they're doing stuff completely different that they just don't normally do. I think when some of that stuff starts becoming second nature, like
Mhm.
SGA setting back screens and stuff like that for
Yeah.
slips for case and walls or something like that. I think that as they grow together, those things
Yeah.
will become a lot more second nature, and that offense will be a lot easier.
I
It'll
think
just
we're
work a lot better.
Yeah, I think we're really seeing Shea also develop as a playmaker with this team, like just
Yeah.
understanding where everyone is. And I thought, like we saw the two-man game for J-Dub and Shea kind of expand. Chet's obviously going to be a better offensive player, I assume, next
Mhm.
year.
I
So his
hope so.
two-man game with Shea and J-Dub can really be anything. And if he can develop more as an off-the-dribble player and even as a shooter, more consistent player there's potential there. Also, the stat was Topic is the first player to win a championship before playing a game, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy.
Huh, that's funny.
But
Can
yeah,
I say something that's a super hot take about OKC?
sure.
Um, I have just don't get mad at me, Sai. I just have a fear that like I think J-Dub and Chet need to make like marked, especially Chet. I think they need to take like legitimate steps up offensively for this team to stay in contention. Because you guys are filled with elite role players who are all connectors. There's like five of them you could think of off the top of your head.
Mhm.
This could be one of those teams, respectfully. Obviously, Shea is easily a top three player, top two player, whatever. But this could be one of those teams where if they lose a couple of those connectors, they fall off. Like not fall off significantly, but they're no longer like the clear cut winners. We saw it with the Nuggets, saw it with the Lakers. I totally think this could happen to this team if these things.
That's the thing, right? I agree. I think Jada will get there. We've seen him take a level, like a step up, where he
Yeah.
can be a versatile scorer in many ways. Chet, not completely confident, but I think he shows enough promise where I can believe. And the thing is, he's enough of a defensive player asset that it's not really too much of worry. I don't think teams are necessarily built on three-star players anymore anyways as pure scorers.
They're
Like you
not.
don't
They're
need a
not.
big three to be. I just think like you need an offensive system, and I don't think Mark's really gotten there yet. So I
Mm,
think if I trust Sam Presti to keep those role players around. That's like if you're
yeah.
worried about us losing role players, I think we'll get guys, and he knows the type of guys that'll fit in the system, and we'll keep getting those type of guys if we need it. I'm just more worried about like if we can figure out how to create a cohesive offensive system around these three guys instead of them.
My only thing is, I think it's impossible. It's so hard to go back to back
Mhm.
to even just get
I
back to
mean,
the
it hasn't
finals
happened in 7 years, so
in 7 years, right? So uh, that's the reason I think that like not only will there be some level of championship hangover, I
mhm.
just think like the toll that it takes on your body to go through this whole off season of like Draymond said it on a podcast about how like it's almost better to lose in the first round and then lose in the finals, right? Because you don't have to go through all that.
Yeah.
Um, which by the way, I mean it's crazy that LeBron did this for like 10 straight years or whatever. But like I think that I wouldn't be surprised if OKC wasn't back in the finals
For sure.
just because of how
But
hard it
on the
is to.
bright side, if you're worrying about total body, like this is the youngest team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
what the advantage you get there is like they have the minutes. They obviously injury luck went our way this up, and you never know with next season. But they're willing to rest their guys. Chet didn't even play. He played 30 games. Ihart played 30 games. Caruso was really in and out of the rotation all year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was really Shea and Jada who were kind of like the consistent guys. I mean Dort too, but so I think they're going to be willing. They know what they're there for, and they're going to be willing to rest their guys as much as possible. And again, same roster back to back. I think they know what the main goal is, and repeating may be tough, of course. Like we haven't seen it in a while for a good reason. But I think this is the team most equipped to do it.
That would be if they went back to back, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I
I
cannot
mean,
even
these
imagine
talks
the
have
world.
they've already started, but yeah. I
Yeah.
just don't know what team in the East is gonna take some like crazy jump and surprise everyone. Maybe the Cavs. I mean, not
I think
crazy.
I'll
Orlando.
say
Season, but huh?
it's
I
got to
think
be healthy, man.
Orlando.
It's all bad.
Yeah.
OKC was, I mean, they peaked at the OKC peaked at the right time. Well, they peaked all season,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but they
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 still get
found it.
like
Yeah, exactly, and that's what matters. Getting there healthy.
yeah, man.
Should we talk, KD?
Let's do
Let's
it.
put it. Okay. So on the day of the NBA Finals Game 7, Kevin Durant got traded to the Houston Rockets. Did you guys see that they were essentially just leveraging like KD's value until the very end, essentially like depleting the Suns of all of their assets until the or like depleting the yeah, like essentially just like fucking over the Suns till the very end. Until there was practically nothing they were getting in return for Kevin Durant. I thought that was interesting to see. The actual details of the trade. What was it? He was traded for Jalen Green,
Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks,
and
10th pick, and 5 seconds.
yeah, 5 seconds. There you go. 10th pick. They actually got apparently they got a good pick with that. They got a center out of
Yeah,
Duke, I think.
Yeah.
yeah,
On
We can talk about that in a bit.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's literally their pick that they lost.
yeah,
So that they got back.
yeah. And then, of course, well, the Rockets receive Kevin Durant. What are your immediate thoughts on the trade? I feel like this is a very clippable question. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the Kevin Durant trade?
I love it.
side. Go for it.
This is a definitive contender in my opinion now. They were missing a go-to scorer, a consistent offensive creator. Jalen Green obviously wasn't that. Had one game where he scored above 20 points in that playoff series against the Warriors, and losing him, completely fine with that. That means more minutes and more shots to Amin Thompson, Reed Shepard, guys you have in your ecosystem, and the fact that you gave up pretty much nothing. I think Dylan Brooks is a good, like a valuable piece. But the fact is, you gave up your 10th pick, which was already the Suns, and then Jalen Green, which was really the main trading points. Jalen Green's contract never really liked it in the first place. About 30 million a year for two more seasons, or the next 2 seasons, and then Dylan Brooks is on a player option, I think, after this, so he's an expiring. So again, easy trade. You do this 10 times out of 10. You don't give up any of your major assets. I thought Jabari was going to be gone in a deal like this. Wasn't gone. Cam Whitmore could have been gone. Not him either. Tari Eason, like none of their real young guys who you're other than Jalen Green, of course, who you think is part of their future was really traded. And for them to do that, it's just a home run. Houston's scary. I think they're, in my opinion, the number 2 team in the West right now,
Yeah.
pretty definitively. And I think they just did an excellent job. And I'm really disappointed by the Suns. Like, I know KD had all the leverage in this situation, it felt like, but the fact that you're not able to get anything other than Jalen Green in the 10th pick is kind of disappointing, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Uh, if I think the Rockets, yeah, I also really like what they did. You got Kevin Durant. You have Kevin fucking Durant. Like, and what I really like for the Rockets is that he doesn't take away from anything that they've already done, and then he adds everything that they already needed. They were number 1 in rebounding, they were number 5 in defense, and they're number 7 in fast break points. That's all stuff that KD can come in and contribute to, if not make better. But they were 21st in 3-point percentage, and they were 22nd in half court points per play. So all the stuff that KD's great at. I mean, he was among all jump shooters who took like 500 jump shots, 55 guys. He ranked first in efficiency for all those guys. He is still an elite ISO scorer, and he's exactly what this team needed. And he'll fit great under Ime Udoka. So
I like the fit a lot. Like you said, they didn't really get rid of anything that he's not like like Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks had a like decent series against the Warriors. Jalen Green is fucking atrocious. I still think they're missing a little bit of explosive scoring on the perimeter.
I think Amen can be there. I think he's going to take
like,
this.
but he's not like a pure. He's not a scorer, and he's not the
He
great.
can get downhill if
He can get
like that's
down.
what the thing is. Like you don't have the rim pressure anymore when you lose Jalen Green and you put Kevin Durant in his place. I think Amen can take that step.
Amen does that. That's not the problem. I think it's
Yeah.
the perimeter shot making that's the problem. I don't think you can rely on like a whatever, however old Fred and like slow Fred VanVleet is gonna be for you on the perimeter. And I think Kevin Durant, like, what happens what happens when they blitz him, dude? They're back to like the same old like garbage Rockets
Amen
offense.
Thompson in the dunker spot, Alperen Şengün in the short roll. There's a lot to like there.
I don't know. I still think they need one more shot creator on this team, like on the
no,
perimeter.
they're definitely a bit forward heavy for sure. I think they'll get some guards in. What I don't know if they have that MLE or something like that. Rescaling Van Vliet's contract to 2
That
years
was
50
huge.
is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also agree. I mean, like, there's definitely the offense might still be a little clunky. And
I
Katie's
mean,
not like a
because their
Katie's not a
competition.
system though.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna go get his 25 to 30 points,
Yeah.
and people still need to chip in. It's not like Steph who'll score 10 points, but then he's creating 60 more.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. That's the problem. I mean,
but the defense is still gonna be so good, and all they needed in the playoffs
it'll
was
be
to be able to
insane.
hit like 100 points every game. And I think with KD they can actually do that
And
because
their
he's gonna score.
competition. Yeah, and their competition's OKC, right? Like this is not a terrifying half-court offense either.
That's
They're,
true.
they're
But
good.
OKC has guys to make this Rockets team so fucked defensively. Come
Sure.
on, like they match up beautifully against this team.
They match up beautifully against every team.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. But against a team that struggles offensively, like that is not going to be explosive at all offense. And it's not like Kevin Durant's some explosive scorer either. I mean, he's also old, and he does have trouble like getting. He just shoots over guys at this point in his career. He's not getting.
He's elite. He's elite at doing that though.
He's elite
He's
at
so
it. I agree.
And the thing with what you're saying, Rohan, is like I agree, but you know what they have? They still have a crazy amount of assets. So they
Yeah.
can get another guy. I've heard Jalen Brown maybe to the Rockets. Like if they're going all in for the final move, that would be like a move you can make. Like then that's exactly what you need in that perimeter creation,
Yeah.
that secondary scorer, like who's
You're the
been
Celtics. Why do you even do that? If you're not getting Amen Thompson out of that, why would you even do that? Like you're gonna get like a bunch of
because
sun.
he's probably the biggest contract in the NBA. Like that's probably why.
No, but it's not like they have a short window or something.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
I don't get it at all. I don't know if they have the assets to get like I mean they do have the assets. I don't know if a team. I think Giannis, like crazily enough, is more likely to get traded to the Rockets than Jalen Brown is. I don't think the Celtics are going to trade Jalen Brown, regardless.
I don't love the Giannis. I guess I mean it's Giannis, so you can't. I don't love the fit though, but
Oh
I
yeah, I
don't know if I'd
don't
rather.
care about the fit at all. Like, it probably isn't like the best.
Unless it's like for Şengün, I wouldn't do it. Like if
Yeah.
for like that fit doesn't make any sense.
I'll do it in a second. Can you for Şengün? Can you imagine Amen, Giannis, and
KD, that's crazy.
Unfair.
Yeah, for the starting lineup on this team, I'm assuming they're gonna go Fred, Amen, and then Katie, and then Jabari, and then Şengün. I'm happy
I
Jabari's
could see Tari
start.
starting
It was
too.
like, huh?
I could see Tari starting too.
Oh, yeah, I
Going
could,
for
yeah.
that defensive oriented. And
He
then
can shoot, too.
maybe there's another shooter they get. I don't know.
I mean, Tari
Yeah,
Eason,
I don't think they're not done making moves. It's hard to say the stars when we don't know what that team's gonna look like.
Yeah,
Getting off Jalen Green is nice though, and I honestly like Jalen Green was pretty sucky in the playoffs. I think he was pretty ass, but he still had like a 36.6 assist game or something like that. Like there's still flashes of a guy who can be useful for a playoff team. Whether you can get it consistently, that's a big question. But he's still young and it can still come along. I'm not going to count him out completely. Phoenix is. We can talk about the Phoenix side too because this
we
is.
should.
I
yeah.
don't even know what to say about the Phoenix side. Like I understand that at a certain point when KD says, first of all, saying that you're going to trade KD and then KD having all the leverage, like you're already not going to get much. There was that report about like the Cavs threw Darius Garland in there or something. Well, it doesn't matter.
That was
Even
crazy. How did they not accept that?
even if it is, KD said no, so it doesn't even matter, right? So like KD clearly had all the leverage in the situation, so that the Suns got what they could. I don't hate what the Suns are because they got Malawak, who I think is pretty good. He has a lot of tools. Surprised he fell to 10. And they traded for Mark Williams, so like they understand what they need, which is like a big fucking step for the Suns. But it just like the Jalen Greens. I guess they cut Beal, right? Beal's gone. There's no way he plays
I
another
think
game
they
this
should cut him. Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna trade for him.
Yeah, yeah, and then but like I see the vision with Book Green, Brooks, who'd their four be? Ryan Dunn, and then Malawak, or even you can still start Nick Richards, or you can start Mark Williams. That's still a decent team. It's not gonna. It's a playing team at max,
Is
but
it a
I guess
play-in
there's
team?
something to like there.
I'm not even sure that it's a play-in team.
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of what
I
they're.
don't know
I
what
mean,
they're supposed to do
obviously,
though. Like we can shit on them all we want, but what do you expect them to do? They had to get
no,
rid of
I
Green.
think they just doubled down in bad ways too. Like you said you like the Mark Williams trade. I do not. Just to like
You don't like it?
draft
They already have
Malak.
Nick Richards. They're just
Why?
fucking.
Yeah, like you, especially you
Nick
have
Richards
Malak, who's
sucks. Nick
exactly.
Richards is
Yeah, he is ass, but like, how much? I don't know. Mark Williams is he gonna be healthy for
But
you?
you trade your only available pick in 2029. Why? Like that's plus another first round pick this year. Like I just don't get that at all.
They also don't have a point guard.
They don't have a
The
point guard.
entire roster. We're gonna go back to point book. So
I mean, Matt Ishbia is literally the worst owner in sports.
this
He
is
came in and he decided that he was going to run the team like how he wants the team to be.
Yeah.
And he came in and fucked everything up. They don't have any picks. 2026 is probably going to the Grizzlies, 2027 Rockets, 2028 Nets, 2029 Rockets, 2030 Wizards, 2031 Jazz. It's just like
wait, that's
they have
crazy. This team is insanely cooked.
Yeah.
no, it's over. If you're, I mean, that's
Until they
why it's
trade
like
Beal, they have nothing to go
Why
for.
would you not trade Book at that point,
Sorry,
man?
Book, my bad. Yeah.
Some assets.
because
Yeah.
Book wants to be there.
I do want to talk about like the other suitors because I mean, as you said, KD had all the leverage. He said about his other two teams though, San Antonio and
Miami.
Miami.
Oh my
I'm
God.
shocked that Miami was not willing to part with Jaquez,
Yeah.
Jokic.
They're not playing this year. Like, you barely
I think
played.
even Highsmith. Like, what do you want? I don't like. What do you think you can get away with to get KD? That's kind of insane to me. Is it just like Wiggins
Yeah.
straight up?
It's because they're getting KD light because they're getting Jonathan Kuminga. So it's
Facts, bro. Facts.
which I
I don't
actually
know
think is
what's
gonna happen.
They shifted their focus. They shifted their focus to Kaminga. That gives the impression that they struck out on KD. They fucking had to give up Haywood Highsmith, and they said no. That's wild. Yeah. I don't know what these teams are doing. I mean, Spurs. I thought the Spurs package was pretty good. Like I thought the Spurs package blew this shit out of the water.
What did they offer? I don't think they gave enough.
I mean, it was something around the line. I know that the Spurs thought it was too much. They were asking. Like, I don't know how the Suns go from asking for the second pick, Vassell and Sohan, to fucking Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, and then the 10th. That's I don't know. That's a huge drop off to me.
And especially like the Rockets have Suns picks and they can't get their own 2029 pick. They couldn't get anything other than the 10th pick, which was already, the lottery balls were already drawn. Like, what that value is at this point. It's really disappointing.
Yeah.
I like the Spurs not trading for him though, and I like them not trading the second pick either. Dylan Harper's really good, and I like that you keep all these good players and see how it pans out. Like I don't see a problem. People are like talking about trading Fox too. I think it's okay to keep him. Let the guard trio of Fox,
Chris
Castle,
Paul.
and
Yeah, Chris
Chris Paul's.
Yeah.
And
There's
I
like
feel like he's
four
gonna be.
guards though. It's a little
I feel
weird.
like
Like, I don't know.
it is, but it's like take the best player available and let's see what happens. You know, there's no rush. I don't know if I'm glad they didn't trade for KD, and Houston I think blew this trade out the water there.
Completely
I
agree.
think I don't mind them not trading for KD, especially if like Giannis is still tradable. For and I also agree with then. I do think Dylan Harper, like my limited draft knowledge, I still know that Dylan Harper is probably the second best player in this draft class. I really like him. I like his family, his mom, everyone. But most importantly, I I think I still think having four guards in that roster, like four of their top five players are guards. I mean, four of their top five most important players are guards. I mean, maybe Chris Paul is not as good as Devin Vassell or Jeremy Sohan, but he's gonna be closing like half the games this year for him. So to me,
Really?
Is he
I don't
still?
think it's.
Is he,
I don't think it
is
is.
he still on
Chris
the?
Paul,
Are we sure he's even gonna be on the team? What's his contract?
I'm not sure.
No, I think he's a free agent.
I
Is
think
he
so.
actually?
Yeah, I think he signed a 1 year.
And
Oh,
I yeah, I think he signed 1 year, and I don't think that he's gonna be back on the Spurs. I'd imagine I feel like he's gonna be on the Lakers or some shit
you're right.
like
Yeah, he signed a one
Okay,
more.
see, you know,
Oh,
or OKC. Yeah,
return back.
then maybe I'm wrong. Okay,
Houston. Houston's interesting.
Dylan
Okay.
Harper's got a bigger guard too, right?
He's 6'5".
6'5".
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can play the two. You got two
Yeah.
left. Is your backcourt and
He's
stuff?
just. I
I
don't
think
think he's like an off-ball player. So that's
yeah,
why it's weird. Like even
Yeah.
Castle's more of an off-ball player, and he's not even that much of an off-ball player.
yeah.
Um,
Darren Fox is
that's why it's
definitely.
just there's so many. It's a weird fit for me as well. I would trade Fox, personally, and that's
But
kind of
I don't think you've given it enough of a chance. Like
that's also fair.
a
But
full year.
you just I don't know why you would not go in like a certain Wemby focused timeline when you have this great chance to.
I think like
But I'm also
Mhm.
I'm also a huge fan of like let rookies be rookies and like come off the bench and like learn a little bit. I don't like to like you rush into like, oh, you know, this second pick, so you got to start him. Like I think there's a lot of value in like letting someone learn the position before throwing them in the fire. So that's why I feel like keep Fox around, let Dylan learn. Castle will also learn even more, and then you know in the future you can go with that 1-2 punch of those two. But I feel like I'm a Rowan. I think we keep Fox around for a year and like see what happens. You know, like maybe they make the playoffs and like Wemby gets 2 rounds of experience. So does Castle and Harper. Next year you're really cooking and you can kind of make a run like
Frankly,
OKC is a
like
little different.
I think that's valid, but even less than that, I don't even think you need to make the. I mean, you probably should make the playoffs. Like it's time, but I think it's more important because by the end of the year, you'll probably have a clear picture of what you want the future to look like. You will know. You'll have some semblance of like a vision of what Dylan Harper will be in the next couple of years, and at that point, you could like maybe take the risk and trade Fox, or you could see them coexisting. But I think you might have an answer, and I don't think there's any reason to trade your number two pick or the guy who only played like 20 games for you and is a superstar, like an all-star last year. Like I don't think I think if anything, Stefan Castle could be a guy on the move in the next 2 years. Like if he doesn't I think he has the least potential out of these four guys we listed. And while I do think he's a nice fit with Wemby, like defensively, and he's a good playmaker and he's smart, like he definitely, I don't think his upside is nearly that of Dylan Harper. So I
For
think,
sure.
yeah. So we'll see. I still think they have time. Like Wemby's window is literally the rest of his career. Like only like 21, but he could win now. He could win in 5 years. He could win in 10 years. He's still going to be a top 5, top 10 player. So I don't think you need to rush it. And I think they've made the right moves from Wemby's point of view, where they're like they want me to win, but they also like want to win in the future. So I don't think you should rush in
Yeah.
it.
Should we do some draft stuff? Any
We
stuff?
got some other trades to talk
Yeah, let's
about.
go quickly the
Oh
other,
yeah,
and then we could go right into draft stuff. Let's just focus on Celtics right now. So we have the Drew Holiday trade. Drew Holiday was traded for Anthony Simons, and who else was he traded for? It was Anthony Simons and
That was
was
it.
it a pick? I think they
That's
got
two
like a
seconds.
second round pick too. 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. This trade kind of surprised. Like I kind of got it I obviously got it from the Celtics point of view, but from the Blazers point of view, I don't know what you're doing. I know Anthony Simons would like it feels like there's kind of an overload of young talent, young mediocre talent on that roster, and Anthony Simons doesn't really fit the age range of some of the other players, like Scoot Henderson, for example. But I feel like they could have gotten a better return than an aging Drew Holiday on a huge contract, and they had to give up picks in order to do it. So I don't get that. Celtics point of view, it seems like it was the right move at the time. The follow-up move didn't really make sense to me. But at least you're literally getting a better basketball player who's much younger. And you got 2 picks. So yeah.
I've kind of talked myself into the Portland side of it, honestly. I think they're in that like push for the playoffs. We'll get vets and then we'll have some younger guys and they can learn from the vets of how to play in the playoffs. I think in the end of the day, playoff experience is the most valuable thing you can have. Um, I also think that I feel like they'll keep Drew around for a year if Drew wants to be there. I feel like he doesn't want to be there. I saw a report that he was pissed about being in Portland.
Yeah.
And if he wants to be there, and then I think you flip him. At one point, he's going to be this $38 million expiring contract, and
Mhm.
that'll have a ton of value. And then you can flip him for something you really want. So I think I think it's kind of Portland saying like, okay, we have a lot of guys here. We can put a really difficult defense to deal with on the floor. Let's go like work out some of those kinks in games that matter. And I think I understand that. Like I think it's actually good process, and you don't have to pay Anthony in the future. So I think that like you kind of I see the vision. At first, I was like, why would they do that? That was my initial thought, but I talked myself into it.
Yeah, personally, I was really high on Portland's perspective the entire time, just because I've liked their roster.
Yeah.
And the second half of their season, they were the third best defensive team in the league. Like they have a really good roster when it comes to their defense. Donovan Clingan is a great rim protector. Tumani Kamara, all defense. Denny Avdi, a great defender as well. Like they have the infrastructure to be a top 5 defense next year, especially adding Drew Holiday. Like this is a direction you've chosen. I think they have potential to be like the Rockets from last year, where focused on defense, don't really have like they don't have a Şengün, right? Where they don't have like a clear all-star guy. But if a Shaden Sharp can develop or a guy like Denny can really prove what he did towards the second half of the season is
Their
consistent.
offensive talent might be better, might be better than what those Rockets were like last year, 2 years ago.
Maybe.
I mean,
I think the only question is really just Chauncey Billups, the coach, who can elevate this team to that level. I'm not necessarily convinced on that, especially compared to Ime Udoka, but I'm really high on it. I do think like maybe you didn't have to give up a couple seconds. Like maybe you could have been the receiving end of the picks, but it's really just it's pretty minor stuff. Like obviously you have to. I think you're keeping Drew for the next 2 years, and like you said, Saho, like you have that 37 million expiring, and that's really like an asset at the end of the day. When it comes down to Drew's contract, like it's really just 2 years of Drew, who's still a decent player. He can really shoot the corner three. Still a great defender. Obviously, maybe not like amazing for a self-creator at this point, like really doesn't have the chops there. But if Scoot can develop into that, which I think Drew can help him with, and
that,
I think if
yeah.
Shaden can develop into that, they're really cooking and can be a top 6 seed, maybe.
I mean, I just don't like the contract, but I get what you guys are saying. I mean, as opposed to Anthony, who's been there a few years, you have veteran presence for like slightly more expensive price. That's also a tradable contract. I get it. I still don't think this team is like top 6 level in the
They're a
West.
deep team though. Like you look at the
Yeah,
roster.
they were good too. Like Billups was
Yeah.
decent this year. Like this team was competitive for like
That's what I mean. Like they really reminded me of the Rockets, where it's second half of the stretch, like you know how the Rockets the year before, right?
yeah,
11
they
seed
almost made
pushing
the
for
plan.
the
Yeah.
play-in tournament. This last year they did the exact same thing, really the 12 seed this year, but really close to making that play-in tournament. But you know, a couple losses down the stretch didn't really get there. But they have a really good defense. They have a pretty like a good veteran who can really show them the ropes here. And they have a deep roster. Like I said, Klingon. They have DeAndre Ayton still on the roster, and I don't think he's, he might not start for them at this point,
Yeah.
but he's still pretty good. Like I think he's a good
I
backup
feel
big.
like
I feel you
I
should
feel like Aiden might be out the door
please.
just because
Yeah.
they
If
also took
if you could trade him, yes, I agree, but I
I
don't know.
think he has like he's only losing value from now, and especially if you're not going to start him. I mean,
That's
he was
fair.
good 2 years ago too. Like last season, I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but he was good.
they also took a
Traded.
Jan Hunt. I don't know what is Hans
Oh,
Young or something.
that was a weird pick, right? Like I did
Yeah,
that.
because they have Klingon already. But what I will say about the Blazers is that I think they're kind of looking around the West and being like, wait, like outside of the Thunder and the Rockets, and then the Nuggets probably because of Jokic and the Wolves, yeah. Like after that, like there's a lot of teams that there's a lot of questions with the Clippers. There'll always be questions. There'll always be questions with the Warriors and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Who the fuck knows what's going on with the Kings, or the Grizzlies and the Mavericks with Kyrie torn ACL. We don't know. So I think they might be looking around, being like, Spurs are getting better, the Suns are getting worse. I think they might Pelicans. Oh, we haven't even talked about the fucking Pelicans, but
Yeah.
they're probably looking around being like, wait, like we can get something here. Sai said, I feel like I wouldn't bet on them being a top 6 team, but like I feel like if it comes to it, I wouldn't be surprised if they find their way in there somehow. Just because they become this super tenacious defensive team that like you struggle to score 100 points on, and then they struggle their way to 100 points too, but then they get there at the end. And I like the vision. I think the Asian center. I don't want to butcher his name again, but
Yeah.
I think that pick
Well,
was confusing just because you already have Klingon. So you might be
Also,
looking around.
he was like a second round. Like people evaluate him a second round pick. Like doesn't seem
Yeah.
like he can really defend on an NBA court.
he's supposed to be the next
That
Jokic,
big.
right?
Asian Jokic is what.
Yeah.
I saw his tape. He looks a little bit more like Şengün than Jokic, but I guess Şengün looks a little bit like Jokic
Maybe.
too. So
Yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy, man, but I mean, the difference to me is the Rockets had like Ahmed Thompson was a top pick in the draft, right? And I know Scoot was too, but I feel like we saw more flashes from Ahmed than we did from Scoot.
Fair.
I just don't see why you can't tank one more year if you're the Blazers. Like, but maybe they're gonna win too many games even without Drew. Like maybe
Yeah.
that's a problem. But
I mean, Simons is on an expiring contract right now. He has 25 million left. You have to pay him. Why? Like, why bother? He
then
doesn't.
why
fit the
not
roster
trade
at
him to a
all.
contender in the middle of the season? Like I feel like you can get decent value from that rather than like a $40 million a year Drew.
Again, that's the thing. I don't think Drew's a negative asset for this team. I think he can really add to what this team needs personally.
I know it's like I'm breaking I'm thinking about it too black and white, where if you're not winning, what's the point of taking on like $100 million contract? Like I get it, but
I see what you're saying in terms of like they don't have a guy. This is like they have a guy, and I feel
yeah.
like you all are assume that you need a
I believe
guy.
in Denny.
And
I
here's my
believe in
problem with
Denny.
what you guys are saying. Like I get it. Yes, this is going to help to make the top 6 seed. But after that, it's like you're literally saying we're going to take on Drew Holiday as a rental so we can learn what it's like to be in the playoffs. And then we're going to be bad again. Like I don't think these
They
guys
had the 11th pick this year. It's not like they're getting a star this
Yeah.
last season either.
I get it. I that's the thing. It's a shitty place to be in, but the way you guys have explained it, which again, I get it and I don't. I get the fact that you want to make the playoffs, you want to have veteran experience, but you're literally saying we're taking on Drew Holiday as a rental that we're going to trade in 2 years, and what he's going to help us with is get our locker room like more like playoff experience, whatever, to be a mediocre playoff team that flames out in the first round. And then what? Like I just don't see
That matters though. That
Yeah,
matters.
that matters. I mean, and again, this is a young team at the end of the day. Like they have Klingon's a second year player. I think you're completely out on Scoot, which is what
Yeah,
your information is giving to me.
I think we're
I
all
think he's still there. Like there is flashes, and if he can put it together this year, like there's a lot there. I think he can really like
really
be a
bad.
point guard.
Even
I
this
still
year
think he
was
can be a
really
point
bad.
guard. I think last year he showed a lot of flashes, and I think he can get his jump shot together a little
I
bit.
thought in the end of his rookie year, he looked good, but I felt like this year was a huge disappointment for him.
I don't know. I personally thought he showed way more flashes this year, last year. And then I think Shaden Sharp's legit good. So
He's
I think
like
those two guys are
but like good meaning like he's an excellent role. I don't know how
really
if he's
building
a
blocks.
star, but
So from the Celtics side, are they re-signing Anthony after this?
I don't even know.
No idea.
They have Peyton Pritchard. What's the point of having Anthony Simons
I
on?
think, yeah, I mean, I don't really like him as a
Well, it
player.
was purely
I feel like-
financial.
yeah, it's purely financial. So I think probably not. Maybe you sign and trade him would be my
Yeah.
guess in the offseason, or even trade him as like before it starts for some
So
more.
Tatum is definitely out then. Like there's no shot he's coming back next year. Is what
I mean, it's an Achilles. I
Like-
don't think so either.
No,
It's a
I'm saying like
dagger.
I think it was up in the air before, but with these moves, it's clear the Celtics aren't gonna. There's no shot they're bringing him back.
But
right?
it's like, what does that matter if you're not sure if you're going to be a playoff team? Like,
Well, I
and
mean,
you have to pay the
If
second
they
year.
thought they were, if they thought he was gonna come back, I feel like they wouldn't just gut the roster.
Yeah, but they saved $72 million in luxury
Yeah.
tax, or $40 million in luxury tax payments next season. Like that's huge.
If you're not gonna win, what's the point? They kept the guys that mattered. I think Derek White matters significantly more than Drew does.
For sure.
Yeah.
We'll see if Derek's still on the team at the end of this.
I think he will. Unless like a really good offer comes their way, but I think he will.
Who'd you say? Who's gonna be on the team?
Derek.
Oh yeah, I'd love him on the him on the Warriors. Is crazy, man.
Him on any team is a dream.
It's nuts. I was literally explaining like to my boss, actually, funnily enough, like he's like into Warriors basketball, but he doesn't know anything about any other team. And I was explaining like how good Derek White is. I was like, he was like, who do you think who do you think could join the Warriors? I was like, the two best possibilities are Andrew Wiggins and Derek White. He's like, what? And I was like, no, 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 you don't get it. If we get those guys, we're legitimate contenders. He's like, no way. Who are these people? I mean, he knows Andrew Wiggins, but like, I'm just imagining like Steph and a Derek White backcourt is fucking
That's
beautiful.
filthy. Yeah.
Fit is insane.
That's the
Okay.
best shooting backcourt ever,
They're
maybe.
going to combine for 23
Play.
attempted a game. Literally,
Yeah.
that's how many they attempt. And then you have Jimmy and Draymond, and then you have Brooke Lopez as our center. Like, that's amazing. Right? Yeah.
Do we want to move on to the Porzingis deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Celtics anyway, so yeah, let's get it out the way.
I don't know if you have the deal in front of me.
I have the trade up.
Yeah.
So,
Go for it.
okay, so the Celtics send center Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks. And Atlanta sends Terrence Mann and their number 22 pick to the Nets, and then Georges Niang from Atlanta and a second rounder go to the Celtics. So it's a three-team deal with
Yeah.
those three teams, the Hawks, Celtics, and Nets. Atlanta gets Porzingis and a second, and then Atlanta salary jumps Mann and the 22nd pick to Brooklyn.
Yeah. So
What are your guys' thoughts on this deal?
I like it for the Hawks. I mean, it's like you're really giving up nothing of value, frankly. You're giving up George Niang like 3 seconds and Terrence Mann and the second
And the
pick.
first.
Yes, that could be valuable. Yeah, well, it's worth a shot. You know, the fit Porzingis fits on any roster, especially one with Trae Young and Jalen Johnson on it. That's like a really nice fit. Zachary say too. Like the spacing on the team is really good, and they have a nice balance of like athleticism, like with Jalen Johnson as well. I like it. I think it's fine. I don't know if he's healthy. Like, why would the Celtics give him up for nothing if he was healthy?
I mean, they probably gave him for nothing because he's an expiring contract, and teams probably aren't going to give him much for a guy they're probably not going to want to re-sign. So I think that's the only. But I agree. I mean, this is really not much, and again, so it saves them a shit ton of money for next season, especially a season where you're not expecting to be good. And he hasn't really played playoff minutes for you. If we're being honest, Porzingis has been injured. He was horrible in the playoffs this year, and then last year he played maybe 2 games.
We'll never forget that first finals game, dude.
Yeah. So it was that was crazy. Those 11 points. But yeah, I think I like it for Atlanta as well. Like I think it's another East team kind of realizing how open the East is and making a move that doesn't cripple them at all for the future, like, but also keeps their flexibility open. And then I think I like it on the Brooklyn. Like I think this is one of like those win-win-win trades, where everyone gets kind of what they wanted. Boston gets cap relief. Brooklyn gets a fifth first round pick, which they ended up using.
Wasted. Yeah.
And then Atlanta gets a guy who can be their starting center. Capella, obviously out from this roster, and then he kind of fits with the Kongwu where you can go double big, and he also fits with Johnson, and you can go like one big. Like
That's
there's
nice.
a lot
That
of
team
flexibility.
sounds so nice, dude. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's a huge team outside of Trey. Like, if you're somehow gonna play,
Defensive team for real. Like with
yeah,
Dyson, with Risa Shea, with
yeah.
Jalen. This is a good defense. Potentially a good defense here.
I totally forgot about Dyson Daniels. Yeah, like you have a lot of combinations with the like 2 through 5 that you could throw out there, which is nice. You can go small, you can go huge. Like imagine like a lineup with where you bench Dyson and if Zachary Shea like develops his 3 even more. You play him like 2-3, Jalen Johnson, Zachary, and then Onyeka and Porzingis. That'll be a weird, like interesting 5 to throw out.
But the length they have, you can hide Trey very
Oh
easily.
yeah, no,
You
definitely.
can just
Defense
cover
is
so
gonna be
much
crazy.
ground. Yeah.
I'm
They
so
also have
George Niang is traded again. Fuck George Niang, that fat bitch. He cooked
hey,
the
the Cavs legend, man.
He's been passed around every like good Eastern Conference team.
I'm pretty sure Jason Tatum hates this dude too, and they traded for him, which is
I'm
funny.
glad. I'm glad. I mean, Tatum's gonna be out, but like, yeah, I'm glad. I mean, he's been on the Sixers. Now he's on the Celtics. He was on the fucking Hawks. He was on the Cavs.
Yeah.
He's on the Jazz. Not that matters.
I wonder if they re-sign LeVert. That's one thing that I'm thinking about. I like Sai said that the Onyeka KP front court is in theory very nice. Everything is with Porzingis is in theory very nice.
Yeah.
I hope that Trae Young like watched these finals and realized that like all you need is a little bit of buy-in from your starting point guard, even if they're not a great defender. If you like increase the pace just a little bit, and buy in on defense, like there's a real possibility that you can take a solid 7 people, with you being the best player on the court on the team, and you guys can make a run. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the conference finals, especially in the East.
Wow.
I could see it. I mean,
Yeah,
I actually
this is a
agree with
team
you
like
about
on
them
the
being good for sure. Like your take
yeah.
earlier. I
Yeah, I
100
think this is a team like on the level of the Pistons. Like I think they're right in that range of the
it might
4-5
be.
seed, and
I
that
think
could
both
be
better than the
tough.
Celtics are next year. Like Celtics
Yeah.
with bare bones roster, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, and
If
Jalen.
Jalen Brown gets hurt at all, this team has
They're
nothing. They're
fucked. Oh
Derek
my
White
god.
and
No.
Georges Niang. Like Georges Niang, like looks like he's gonna start because of the way the roster is right now.
And
That's
Sam Hauser, I
gross.
mean Sam Hauser, like my I don't know if he starts.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, this is such a tough, like, imagine if you're a Celtics fan right now going from 2024 to 5. Like, you thought you
Yeah.
genuinely thought you'd be a dynasty. You had these guys locked up for like years. They re-signed everyone that mattered. And then wow.
But that's what we are just talking about OKC. Like it all, I mean, they're all in a much better position with younger team, more assets. But it changes. Shit changes really quick.
Yeah. I mean, also the
It's
cap situation is way different. Like this is a team we knew that Porzingis was at least gone, and
mhm.
now Drew is too because of how poorly he was in the playoffs. But they were solidly in the second apron, and I think OKC isn't there yet. But I agree. I think I'm surprised. Like they saved so much money with these two deals. They saved
Mhm.
$180 million in luxury tax, and which their original salary would have been $500 million, which would probably have been the best, most ever.
But you're okay with paying that if you're winning championships.
Yes,
Yeah.
But if
exactly.
you're not winning stuff, then you're like, okay, let's dial it
And
back and
their
reach it.
owner sold this past year very recently. Perfect timing. That was he sold for like $6 billion.
Mhm.
Very well done there. And then their new ownership group not going to want to pay this much money if your team's not
It's a
competing.
private equity. It's
That
a
guy's
private
been
equity
there
group.
so long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, Mark Cuban also sold like both final teams got sold at the perfect time. Like I thought it was super smart when Mark Cuban sold.
Cuban sold before the finals, I thought.
Who, Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
No, I just thought he sold at the perfect time because that Mavs team seemed to be peaking. They had just gotten Kyrie, like Kyrie had a full
Yeah.
season with Luca. Luca was having the best year of his life. And then like I really didn't think they'd get much better than that. And now look at them. So I mean maybe with Cooper, I don't know. Maybe they can peak higher, but yeah, I thought that made a lot of sense. Can we touch on the VJ Edgecombe pick for the Sixers?
Do we want to
Yeah.
do a draft segment, like all draft stuff at once?
Oh,
Or-
right. We're gonna do it. I totally forgot we're doing that after. Never mind.
Yeah.
Is there one more trade?
I mean, we have the pool trade.
The pool trade somewhat matters, I guess. Yeah. Um,
Big
and the
name.
Mark Williams you talked about, yeah. So
Yeah, I think that the Pelicans. When we talk about pool, we're gonna have to talk about this Derek Queen trade, which is
yeah,
ass. Um, the pool trade, I understand. I just really don't know the vision for New Orleans. Like, yeah. Can one of y'all help me explain, understand what's going on here? Because I'm lost.
hey, it's better than CJ McCollum. I mean, I feel CJ's just older, and like Jordan Poole, theoretically, in theory, could fit better if he just improves. I mean, next to Zion, and like I don't know, it's a decent team. Trey Murphy has great spacing around him.
Jordan Poole gives me the vibe that he's good in a good environment, and I do not feel like New Orleans is
You
a
don't like
good
the fit
environment.
between Jordan Poole and DeJounte Murray? I think that's a really good fit,
No,
actually.
well, first of all, is DeJounte like
Dejounte's gonna be
healthy and
out for a
everything?
while,
Like,
though.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles
that's
too. I don't know what's going on with him.
I also I'm just like
Yeah.
with Zion and everything that's going on, I feel like I only see his name in the news when it's like some new cases come out with some
Oh,
porn
yeah.
star. Like
Oh my
I just
God.
don't
Yeah, I
understand.
forgot he raped someone. Holy shit. I don't even know what's going on with that.
Okay, we don't know that allegedly.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But
Allegedly.
but it's just like I don't understand what New Orleans is trying to do here. I see the vision with Poole younger than CJ,
Yes.
but it's just like, and then you trade. What's the Derek Queen trade? We have to talk about that. I know we're saving for the draft, but the fact that they gave up.
It was they traded their 20. They had the 13th pick, or they had the 23rd pick. They traded the 13th pick, or they traded for the Atlanta Hawks 13th pick, and they gave up their 2026 swap with their pick and Milwaukee. So it's unprotected, but it has the best of whatever Milwaukee's or New Orleans's draft is
The
next year,
best,
which is a
the
really
best of
valuable
that. So
pick.
it's
Yeah,
either New Orleans, which who knows what the hell is going on with Zion, or it's Milwaukee, who knows what the hell's going on with Giannis.
Yeah.
That will probably be a lottery pick.
yeah.
And
Yeah. No,
and
that's yeah.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be a lottery pick.
And
One
with
of the
these prime
and
lottery odds, that could be a top 4 pick, like very easily.
they had to have fell in love with Derek Queen in
The
like
thing is,
pre-draft.
Hey,
I agree with
Sai,
that.
you like Derek Queen, right?
I like Derek Queen, but I don't know why you draft your first guy. Why do you draft a guard when you get Jordan Poole,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
plays exactly like him? Like, why do you draft Jeremiah Fears? Especially like just draft Queen then. You have the seventh pick. That was projected where Queen would go, like similar
Is
range.
Jeremiah
Just
good?
get him. He's good.
He's not
He's
like
like a shifty guard, a lot of very similar to Poole in my opinion.
Why
Very
are they
raw.
getting? Why do they need another? I don't even know what they need. I feel like they need a center. Like I don't know who
They
else.
have Misi,
You
and now
have
they
the
have Queen,
starting
I guess.
four. Yeah, I don't know how good Misi's gonna be though. Like he
But the
seems
thing is,
more.
another thing is like you get three bad defenders. Poole's not a good defender. Fears is not a good defender. Queen is not a rim protector at all. With
Oh,
Zion,
what does he do?
he's like a Şengün type of guy. Like he can really initiate offense from the perimeter. Can't really shoot, but really nice touch. Really
Can't
good
shoot.
passer.
Okay.
Really like
Oh,
can dribble
that's
the
not bad.
ball.
That's a nice fit next to Zion. That's not
It's
bad.
interesting. I don't know if it's a great fit personally. I
They
think
do
it's
need a rim
interesting.
protector though.
And they're very like fun players for sure. Like they're interesting watches, and I think that could be a really fun team to watch with Poole, with Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. But I just
Put
don't.
in a put in a vacuum. Put in a vacuum. The Pelicans trade to the Hawks, Dyson Daniels, and 4 picks, 4 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray and Derek Queen.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, sorry.
I don't know what Joe Dumars is thinking right
I
now,
agree. Like
but I think he thinks he's
it's just
cooking too.
awful process. Like
I mean, it was after Dejounte Murray got 2 games off the Celtics, no? Or like, it was
Did you guys see this? Did you guys see the tweet about John Williamson got excited because he thought they drafted Dairy Queen? I couldn't stop laughing
that was so funny.
so long.
I mean, another thing about Derek Queen is like he's a big dude. Like he could be a Zion like conditioned guy. Like you know what I mean? Like New Orleans is maybe
talking
not the
that
best place
already,
for
bro.
him
That's
too.
wild. Okay.
So yeah, horrible pick. And I just don't get it. Like, why do you get Fears if you trade for Poole? That part makes no sense to me too. Like you're just compounding on small guards, small shifty guards who can't really
With
aren't consistent
questionable,
shooters.
both have questionable decision making
Yeah,
too.
questionable decision making, questionable like consistency, questionable shots. Like there's not a lot of there's very similar players in my opinion.
What would you do for the Pelicans though? Because I feel like they're another case of we have a lot of very, very good players, but we need another star. But in order to even justify trading for a star, you need to first win games with your existing team, and you need someone to put you over the top, but they can't even do that. So what would you even do? Like, what could they have
Just
done?
not this because this is like
Okay.
all like go in for a defense. Like go for a guy. Like if you're trading for a guy, go for Malawach. You had the seventh pick. He would
Yeah.
like Misi's like I agree. I'm not like super high on him. He's pretty good, but I think he's more of a backup pick.
Yeah.
Try to go for a defensive oriented team. Go for a point guard. Like Fears is decent. Maybe try to trade up for Harper or something. Like there's potential there. Like just I'm not a fan of it seems like they're going all in for players who just don't fit the mold for like if you're going for offense, you should get guys who fit around Zion. And that's clearly not these guys don't fit around Zion
They
and
have their starting five. Like they kind of, I don't know. I feel like at this point they're drafting for potential. Like they
yeah.
don't. I don't think you're trying to win. Like you, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you're trying to.
My thing is like in today's league, it feels like offense doesn't. I hate to sound like Nico Harrison, but these young teams that come up, it's because of their defense and they have an identity. First of all, New Orleans has no identity. I don't think adding Jordan Poole or Jeremiah Fears, like shot chuckers, guys that look for their own shot, is builds a greater identity. Um, in of the last 6 championships, the in the playoffs, 4 of them haven't shot the three well. They've been 11th or 10th, or it was the 20 Lakers, the 21 Milwaukee, 23 Denver, and 25 OKC. We're all in the bottom 10 of the playoff teams in 3-point makes and 3-point percentage, right? So just because you have you're a great offensive team does not mean that it's like you need to have to play some defense. Physicality and defense wins games, and it kind of feels like they're just trying to put together like a Seattle Pro-Am team, and let's go have some fun out there. But it's like I don't want to say trade Zion, but like there's only so much of this you can
I'll say
take
it.
before.
Trade Zion, yeah.
No, I think, but I get what you're saying. But they're not in the. I feel like they're, if anything, they're more in the position to gamble than to take like for example, I feel like they choose more to take a Jordan Poole type of player in the draft than a Kason Wallace player in the draft because it's like it's more likely their team is going to be good if they have an elite offensive player than a guy who's an elite defense. I just think that right now that like that one of these guys they pick they think could be it's more realistic they're the best player on their team than like a Case and Wallace type player. Even though again, those Case and Wallace type players are what's needed on a championship team. And like the floor for the Case and Wallace player is much higher than the floor for a Jordan Poole. Because
Yeah, but
they
you
have
don't gamble. This is a stupid gamble because you're not going to be good this year. Why do
no,
you
they're
choose?
not. No, they're not. But they're thinking like in the future, you're not gonna. That's the whole point. You're not gonna be good this year, so you might as well risk it all. I mean, I think either way they're fucked. But you might as well
What?
risk it all and take someone who might be like a star
No,
offensive.
I get that. Sure, you can go for
Yeah.
Fears, you can go for Queen. You don't need both, and you don't need to give up your next year's pick for that,
No,
especially not
that's okay.
draft
Yeah,
class.
that one was doesn't make any sense. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about purely who they picked in the draft. Why they're not going after defensive-minded guys. It's just that offensive-minded guys have the higher upside, while they also have the higher downside. It's more likely that like you like a guy like
Then,
Jordan Poole in the future than a Case and Wallace.
yeah, but okay, I agree with you. But then, like, if you're doing that, why are you mortgaging your future at the same
No,
time?
I think that's
That's
dumb. And
stupid.
trading for it is dumb. I'm just saying if you had the choice, I
Sure.
get why they picked who they
Yeah,
did.
I see what you're saying though. Like in theory, they actually like should put together a decent team on the floor. They're like top 8 guys is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
As long as they stay healthy, which oh wait, they've never had a problem with that, right?
Sure,
So it's like
sure.
we trust Zion to play more than 65 games? Like I wouldn't bet on it. DeJounte, who knows? You know, the only guy who
Probably be
like
back until like the at least maybe like the playoffs if they make it, I would think.
To me, it's also these guys become more tradable because of the higher potential that we just discussed. So if they,
Mhm.
for some reason, start off the year like good and they stay like somewhat healthy and you can justify trading a few very good role guys, like I don't know. I wouldn't trade Herb Jones or Trey Murphy, but if like what's the point of trading for Poole then if you're not gonna start him is what I'm saying. Like I don't know because I feel like their best team was like a DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, and like some center rather than Jordan Poole and then benching one Trey or Herb.
I don't think they should start Jordan Poole. I just don't like the idea of him as a starting
I
point
don't think
guard.
he's start. I
They
don't
don't
think
have a
he's
better
start on a
option.
good team either.
They don't have a better option.
I mean, the better option is DeJounte is injured, right?
He's
So,
out. So yeah, it's really
Yeah.
but like if everyone was healthy, like I also
Oh
would.
yeah, sure. Yeah,
So,
yeah. But
but
then
you need
again,
that explosive score. Like you need the explosive shot creation. Like I feel like DeJounte is not enough. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think Trey Murphy got some improvement there where I think he's good enough to be a perimeter scorer. And
He's
then
a
He's
John's
shooter.
obviously there.
he's so good to me.
Yeah,
I think he's like I would value him over Zion right now in terms of like being
yeah,
untouchable.
Oh yeah,
Like I
dude. You're
really like
speaking Sai's language right now, dude. Sai
yeah,
loves Trey Murphy.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he fucking cooks the Warriors. Shoots from like
Dude,
30.
6'10" shot creator can shoot like crazy range, 40% from three.
I
This
don't
is
think he's some great shot creator though. I don't think he's a great shot creator.
no, I
He's
don't think he's an
athletic and
elite
he's an
shot.
excellent shooter.
He can
But
get to his shot very easily, and that's very
no,
impressive.
if he can find his himself in pick and roll ball handling and
yes,
making
that would
decisions
be
out
a
of
big step.
themselves,
Yeah,
yeah, and
but that's the
defensive
next. Yeah,
consistency.
Defensively is good. Yeah. Um. Okay. Anything else on this trade? Yeah. Pelicans don't know what the fuck they're doing. Kind of. That's the story every year.
Hawks are cooking.
Hawks. Yeah. Hawks are surprisingly cooking. Hawks could be a top 4 seed. I can't wait to do predictions, but there's so much that has to like happen first. Like I haven't even been
Yeah.
free agency yet. Yeah.
Was there another trade or should we go to the draft?
I
No,
think we
Mark
can.
Williams is
Should we do
fine.
Mark Williams? I
Yeah.
guess because that's kind of draft
Kinda.
related because it happened. in the
Yeah.
draft.
Okay. Do you have the trade in front of you?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah,
trade?
it was for the number 29 pick and their 2029 first round pick.
Yeah.
So to Charlotte. Obviously we saw Mark Williams, was attempted to be traded to the Lakers for a pretty similar package, it seems. Didn't end up happening. But then, they get the 10th pick in the KD trade, draft Malawach, and then right after trade for Mark Williams. So I was just very confused there because I thought Malawach was like that was a great pickup. Number
Yeah.
10, he was like definitely, mocked higher than that. I think his value is higher than that. Um, I just don't like they're very similar players. I mean, they're both like huge behemoths, 7'2", can really rebound the ball. Malowich more defensive oriented. Mark Williams definitely more offensively oriented. Um, So I'm just kind of confused. Like, why do you get these two bigs? Especially using up all your assets, what you have left. Like now you have again, no point guard on this roster. No real wings. Like Royce O'Neal's kind of a big wing. Like he's a really important player for them. I think they drafted a guy with the 31st pick who's a decent wing who can.
Rashir Fleming. I like him actually.
Yeah,
Yeah. He was one of the
and
few
Ryan Dunn.
on the
But
OG.
it's like this is a bare bones roster. Why do you go all in for the big position? I'm just confused about that.
Yeah. I mean, they have a bunch of power forwards and centers. There's like 6. I mean, I could read you the thing. So they have Ryan Dunn, Rashir Fleming, Oso Godaro, and then they have that's a big like power forward spot, and they have Mark Williams, Malak, and Nick Richards. So they have 6 bigs.
That's a very mediocre front
And
court.
all of them, and but like the thing is, like all of them are like rotational players, but I don't know if any of them are actually like. I guess Mark Williams is a starter caliber player.
Like the
Um,
only reason I see it is like you get Mark Williams and you get Malawatch for like Mark Williams insurance because that guy gets hurt so often. But
Bro,
it's
why
like,
the
Yeah.
fuck are they getting
why do you,
insurance? They're the Suns. They're not good. Like
yeah,
they're
why
not
do you why do you spend the
10th
10th pick on insurance? That's insane.
insane, bro. I mean, he's good too. Like, it's just that why would you make the trade before? I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like, it happens so many times where it's just baffling. Like, I don't know how the fuck these GMs have their jobs. Like, when the Kings drafted like Georgios Papagiannis when they had DeMarcus Cousins, why the fuck are you drafting guys with such high picks when your best or your second best player in this case, sadly, is that position? It doesn't make sense. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that pick.
I think Malawak is going to be better than Mark Williams too.
Then why
For sure.
trade for him? Like, that's great. And like,
I
you have Nick Richards. He's a decent backup. Like, I don't know why the Suns are caring that much. They should be focusing on getting a
think at this point they're just trying to field a somewhat competitive team and like trying to build a rotation. I wouldn't have done it, but the two first they gave up were the 29th, and then the second first they gave up is like a heavy pick swap where they get the worst of it, so probably be in the late 20s.
That's not,
So
yeah.
so I mean like I get from that perspective like building a rotation, but I just feel like giving away picks when you're the Suns right now, just like something sniffs of being completely off.
Yeah. And
Especially
I don't
for a
know.
guy that like a team like 6 months ago was not willing to trade for or traded for and then saw his medical reports and were like, I don't know about this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I still want to know what happened there. They haven't said
yeah,
anything yet, but that's so confusing.
Oh, plus, by the way, I don't think we talked about it. Kyrie did sign an extension.
he did. And
I-
Gafford too.
and Gafford, yeah, pretty big. Gafford got some big, like 30 million, was it?
Yeah.
He had a big contract. And Kyrie got like, I don't know, it was like 120 over 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for them. But as far as the Suns, yeah, I don't know. Nickeil Alexander-Walker would be an interesting guy to pick up in free agency, but they have enough like twos as well. Like they really need a point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look at what point guards are available.
D'Lo, Dinwiddie.
And D'Lo would be crazy, dude.
Disgusting.
Hey man,
D'Lo,
dude.
Jalen Green, Dinwiddie. Or sorry,
Oh my
Booker
god.
and Beal. That would be funny.
Hey, don't forget Josh Giddey is a free agent.
He's restricted though. They're gonna
No,
raise
they can't match that shit anyway. Ty Jerome perhaps return.
him.
No,
pretty
no.
good.
He's
Ty
staying. He's
Jerome
staying.
was on the Suns, right? He was on the Suns.
He was on
He
the
was.
Yeah, yeah. Trey Jones is an unrestricted free agent. That'd be
They already went through it with Tyus. They're going with
That's
Trey.
true. That is correct. Tyus Jones really fuck. Like he accepted less money after
He was
having a
awful.
3-year year with the Wizards, and literally like lost the bag. That's tough. Oh, you guys want to start with the draft? You can take lead on this. I'll give my thoughts if I understand something, but go ahead.
The only person I've really done like a decently deep dive into, like listening to stuff about him, is Ace Bailey, just because I thought the situation is so funny. How
Yeah.
the Jazz just said, "We don't care what you want, you're coming here." I saw his agent decline to comment on it, which is like shows that he's still unhappy about it. I'm not a huge Ace Bailey guy, but what do you guys think
Same.
about the Jazz's decision to draft him?
What do
I
you
think,
Yeah,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think as a swing, it's a good move because that's kind of the position of need, a forward for that roster. Like Cody Williams, kind of disappointing last year, and they have a lot of guards. They drafted Walter Clayton as well. You know, standout guy in March Madness, really good shot maker, but they have too many guards. They have too many bigs. It feels like with Filipowski, they have like Filipowski, Kessler, and then they have Taylor Hendricks. So they have a lot of bigs, they
Mhm.
have a lot of guards. Ace Bailey seems like a good fit there. I just don't. I think Ace Bailey kind of needs a team where a little more
Culture.
culture. Yeah, culture is a good word for it, and also just like structure. I don't really like what the Jazz have when it comes to like their point guard situation. So who's
Yeah,
really
Hornets should have taken it, man.
I do like their coach, so maybe there's like potential there for him to develop, but if he's gonna be unhappy, that might just cause some problems. I think it's a good overall pick though, just for the value that they have. Like there wasn't really anyone else I would probably take at that position anyways.
Well,
I'm
he's
just not a fan of his game in general. I think that he shot 42% on layups. He shot
oh my God,
36%.
really?
Yeah.
Yes, he shot 36% on pull-up twos, and he only made 24% of his pull-up threes. So I think he settles for a lot of tough jump shots, a lot of times because he can't create good good looks. And I was listening to some people talk about how he kind of shoots a different shot every time he takes a pull up. Like KD, for example, like when he takes a pull up, every shot is the same.
Mhm.
Well, that he's a little different because he can just shoot over you, but his balance and his like change of motion from his legs up into his jumper is the same every time. It's part of the reason that like LeBron has struggled as a jump shooter is because he keeps changing his goddamn release.
Yeah.
So that transfer of motion is a little different. Kind of the same with Ace Bailey. Like every time he takes a jump shot, it looks a little bit different. And I think like I didn't really understand the not wanting to go to a good team because you want your shots. That's just not
It seems
that's
like he
not a
wanted to
winning.
go to any team. I like where would
I
he
don't know what team
any
you want.
clear
No,
like
he said he want to go to the Wizards, right? Or
I
did he?
think that was the only one that was like maybe he was okay
Is
with.
he
But
It
from
just
there?
screams of loser mentality to me. To be
yeah,
like, no,
that's
like I want to go to a
You're
bad
not
team.
good, dude. Like it's different if Cooper Flag is dictating where he wants to go, but fucking Ace Bailey, after having all
Even
these,
if Cooper did that, I'm not a fan of that. Like
yeah, no, it's not good.
it's
No, yeah,
once in a lifetime. You're getting drafted to the fucking NBA, and now
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna try to dictate. It's this new generation, I guess. Like I'm actually I don't want to put on the new gen because like it's not like a bunch of guys have done this before. But this just stood
yeah. I
out to
mean,
me as like
this
he's
has happened in the
top.
past too, like Marbury, and there's
Yeah,
been
Yeah.
guys who are like trying to dictate their own
Probably get as fat as Chuck did,
destiny.
dude. Who knows? Yeah, you guys, you remember we talked about it actually, like how these guys just don't appreciate getting drafted anymore. I saw a funny tweet like these guys aren't even like in tears anymore, dude. They're just used to it. Like they've been collecting the millions before they even got to this stage.
yeah.
I actually like the fit though. I mean, like the fit with the Jazz though. Like I think the fit next to Laurie is nice, and like I mean they have some decent shot creators on the Jazz. Like it could be an interesting team, I guess. I mean, Kyle Filipowski one more year into Edmia, it could be fine, but I don't know where else. Like I don't really have much to say on that. Like he's not going to get in any trouble in Utah, so
That's
I
yeah.
think it's fine. Like, but yeah, I don't think he's that. I just don't think he's a great prospect. So.
Yeah, I think I just did. I wish he was taller. I could have liked him more if he was more of a 4-3-4 instead of like he seems like very solidly as a small forward.
Yeah.
And then he's like really just a shot creator. And he can't really create his own shots. So
He
it's
worked with Giannis. I saw a video of him and Dylan Harper working, like working
yeah.
out with Giannis.
Yeah.
If he's
Was there anybody else you liked in the draft?
Um, I get I might seem biased, but I really like Sorber to OKC. Just
Mhm.
really go, like a perfect fit. It seemed like culture wise and as a defender, very like he averaged like damn near 2 steals, 2 blocks a game for Georgetown. Another guy like was just Knepel and Liam McNeely for Hornets, which was they kind of went with like a veteran, more focused. I mean, Knepel's like a freshman as well, but like much more of a polished draft and like focusing on guys who like actually can play basketball instead of like salon like last year. So I think that was pretty cool, and I think a lot of shooting on that roster, and I think they could be like really fun, polished offense.
He's a good fit next to LaMelo for sure. Like that guy was. I mean, that guy was leading Duke in scoring. Like a team with Cooper Flag on it. Like this guy looked really really good in the tournament. Like there were multiple games I feel like where he was leading them in scoring. Um, he shot 40% from three, average like 19 a game. That's 440. Sorry, he averaged like 15
Yeah.
in the regular season. But
Another guy,
I like the.
yeah, sorry, go
I
ahead.
was I was gonna say Memphis traded up to draft Cedric Howard,
Mm,
who Malik Andrews called Colin Coward.
yeah,
But I like that pick a lot. I like trading out for him too. He's a good shooter. He has good feel.
good wingspan.
He
Like he can be, he's a like perfect 3-and-D wing, like kind of guy you
Yeah,
can.
he shot 40. He shot 40 from three in college. I
Yeah.
think he was 60 or 70% on twos. So I think he can help Memphis right now, which is I guess what they want.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I like that pick.
He's another
Carter
guy,
Bryant.
OKC, that a lot of people were liking. Like he kind of fit the mold of a like just the wingspan and the
Yeah,
defensive tools. Like he's really there.
the Warriors got this guy named Will Richard, and I saw someone tweeted he ranked second in defensive wing shares among all players in the SEC last season.
no, he was on Florida, right? He looked really good.
Yes,
Um,
Florida. Yeah.
yeah.
Another guy I kind of was surprised by how hard he fell was Kasparas Yakachonis for the Heat. I think
Mhm.
he was gonna be like a top 12 pick, like in that lottery range. He went to 20. I feel like the Heat kind of always get a guy who kind of falls. Last year with Ware to the year with before with Jaquez. Like another guy who he's more of a creator. He can't really shoot that well, but like a 6'7" like point guard, like pretty good polished player. Um, I've heard he like tr really struggles with turnovers, so maybe that's something that can really like he can work on. But I liked him as a prospect. Again, not a huge draft guy, but he was a guy I like kind of liked the mold of. So I was surprised he fell that far.
He played for FC Barcelona.
No, he played for Illinois, I thought.
No, I know he was played for FC Barcelona before
Oh, really?
Illinois. Yeah, came to Illinois via FC Barcelona.
Hmm,
He's
that's cool.
Lithuanian. Interesting. Shot 33% from
Also,
three.
Sai, you mentioned somebody mentioned VJ Edgecombe going at 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
What you guys
surprised.
think?
I just don't get it, given that they have Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain.
I mean, I'm good with it. I think that's a good. He's a starting two for me over McCain in my opinion.
Like really,
Because McCain's a point guard. Like he's not a two. You can't. He's 6'2". He's like stout. But he's not like a
yeah.
real defender. Edgecombe is like he's a plus, like huge wingspan, legit
He's a
athlete,
really good player.
like really
He's
good.
not a shooter, right? He's more athletic. No.
Yeah.
He has some potential there for sure. Like definitely, but like an athlete, um, and beast in transition. Like I think he's a starting two for that team. I
Yeah,
like.
and I like they didn't trade the pick. Honestly, I think they're kind of off the Embiid. Embiid can figure his own stuff out, but I think they're kind of off his timeline. I'm glad they didn't like think about Embiid or Paul George when they're making these picks. I feel like they should trade Paul George because I don't know what the vision is here.
Does he have a
I
Yeah,
don't.
they
market?
go with him,
That's why
right?
I don't know if
They,
there's the market for him.
Like you probably
Um,
would have had to trade the three pick just to get off his contract. Like that would have been part of it. Any move.
give it one more year. Maybe it'll be
Yeah.
fine. Maybe it'll have it like bounce back next year. I don't know. I feel like it's unlikely, but yeah. Do you guys know anything about Trey Johnson? I saw like that it
He's
was
nice
a
too.
good pick apparently. Like it was a very, very good pick. They
He's
were
the
saying,
best scorer in the country, probably.
wow,
Like average 20 in the SEC. Three level
39 from
scorer.
three.
Like a lot of I saw a lot of comps to Devin Booker.
Wow.
hmm.
So like very polished scorer. I like him for the Wizards. I think that was probably like a very good pick personally. I think the Pelicans should try to get like that's a guy who would have been fun on the Pels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
obviously Cooper Flag to the Mavs as everyone expected.
Yeah.
Gonna be a fun fit. That team's gonna
Hmm.
be good. I legit think even
I
with
can't wait for Kyrie to get back, dude. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Like
yeah.
Clay,
Yeah.
Kyrie, and then Cooper and AD and I don't know, Lively Gafford or whatever. It'll be awesome.
And then I think we should talk about the Nets. Kind of crazy. They had 5 first round picks, first team to ever draft 5 first round picks and it just felt like they were like using it as lottery balls. Like we're just gonna go for
Facts.
the same
Yeah.
player. One of them's bound to hit. It's just a weird way for the thinking for me because like we saw what the Hawks were able to get from trading the Derek Queen pick to the Pels. They
Hmm.
were able to get a pick. Like you have 6 first round picks. You get Yegor Demin, like you said, like guy who's not a shooter, not really he's like Josh Giddey. We have like 3 Josh Giddeys in this draft, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
they got all of them pretty much. Especially I guess Yakachos too. But like, why do you go for all 3 when you could trade at least one of those picks for someone who for more assets in the future? Especially when you're a team who after this year don't have control of their own picks. Like picks are important for this team. I'm
Mhm.
really sort of confused about the process there.
Yeah, they
I
got
was also
really
I was
bought.
shocked they didn't trade at least one of them or move up for something they liked a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could have moved up. I'm sure they asked around. But yeah, drafting 5 first round picks. I don't even know what that locker room looks like. I mean, 5 rookies.
Yeah.
Do they
I
have any
think
second
that's a
round
pretty
picks?
good like Ace Bailey team. Like I would have liked the Ace
Yeah,
Bailey, Cam Thomas would have been fun.
Oh,
Just the quality of shots would have been like second spectrum would have hated their F shot quality every time, but still would have been fun.
yeah. And they'll hit on one, hopefully. And that's what they're going for, right?
I
yeah.
mean maybe. What no one really seems to like Yegor Demon. He's like
He was
really
so random when he was picked. No one knew who he was.
yeah. I mean he was definitely not he was mocked to be like past the lottery it seemed,
Yeah.
but also not like when they would get him back at 19. Nolan Traore was like pretty hyped up but coming into the draft like last year. He was supposed to be like the number 2 pick after Flag and didn't really end up doing much in France. And then they also picked up Ben Saraf, who's like the I've heard the Israeli D'Lo, which is terrible combination of words. So and then Danny Wolf right after. Again, a point center can is a cool player, can really initiate offense. We saw what his brother reacted to when he got drafted. That was really funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wait, dude, this is so funny. We're talking about the Nets. I just saw a tweet. The Nets first rounder and their assist percentage percentile for their position. So Demian is at a 99th percentile, Traore 100 percentile, Powell 16th percentile,
Hmm.
Seraph 99th, Wolf 98th. So
Yeah, Powell's like the only one who's like he's like a 3 and D guy too. He
Yeah,
yeah,
some
he's apparently a
potential.
really good defender. Yeah.
Yeah. More of a defender, yeah.
I guess they're all going for like high IQ. They're all like, I mean, they have
Yeah.
like 3 foreign players. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it seems like they're really leaning into this high IQ shit. So, um, you think they're getting rid of Claxton anytime soon and Cam Johnson? Like you would think,
uh,
right?
You
you
would think.
definitely,
But also
definitely.
they don't have their pick in 2 years. So I don't like what do you do? You know what I
I
mean?
mean, you want to get picks, like I mean, you want to stack up picks,
That's true.
like using
But
them.
like
Like,
there's
Cam
also
Johnson,
not a point in
Cam Johnson, they'll get a haul for Cam
what's the
Johnson.
point of keeping Cam Johnson? You could definitely get a first round pick and like
yeah, for
probably
sure.
decent asset.
Yeah, too.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope not. We can't
Why?
compete with.
Because then the Warriors can't get him.
Yeah, dude. Like Kaminga and a first round pick is all I could offer you. Like pick Kaminga, GP, take them, and yeah. I think that I
I
don't know
thought
if I
GP
prefer
expired.
Cam over Wiggs, huh?
I thought GP's on an expiring. I thought he expired. Isn't he a free agent?
Yeah, they said they want to. They both parties want to bring him back, and I think same for Looney
Okay.
when free agency starts. But yeah, okay. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on before we end?
Maybe a couple guys. I didn't like the CMB pickup for the Raptors, Colin Murray Boyles. The Raptors definitely have a type, like 6'8", 6'7", like forwards
Yeah.
you can guard.
Masai.
Yeah. He really likes like the OG Anunoby type caliber player, but for this roster, it's just like, well, I don't know. I would go for more creation. I don't think Quickly is like the guy of your future.
No, not he's
Um,
not good.
but then again, there weren't really a lot of creators available,
I
so
like the Magic picking up Jace Richardson. I thought that was a
yeah,
good pick.
that was pretty
They need
interesting.
some creativity. They need some scoring.
Yeah, a real shooter.
Yeah.
Better, he's like if Jet Howard was probably better, I think.
He's a Cole
Mhm.
Anthony replacement, right?
Yeah.
He's more of a 2, right?
Is he? He's a small. He says he's a point guard.
He played 2 with Michigan State, I think, but he plays off the ball a lot.
He's small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a cool name to have in the NBA.
Yeah. Jason Richardson's son, right?
Yeah. He's 6'3". Yeah, I think he's gonna play point for him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
don't really know too many about these players, to be honest.
yeah. Nah, dude, I remember like when I first got into basketball, I'd like look over like at least like the lottery. I would know everyone very, very well, and then even
And
past that. But now,
I
like,
feel like I could have, but OKC's like long. Like I just got too much like going.
yeah, you don't have much time. You weren't worried about the fucking draft like 2 days before because the finals were going on.
Yeah, because I mean, also like none of us had lottery picks. Like none of our teams had first.
Yeah,
My team was the only one with the first round pick, oddly enough. But
dude, the rich get richer.
yeah, you're right.
It'll be like that. It'll be like that for the next 10 years. So
No, they'll be like, yeah, Sai will have to like Sai. They'll win the championship the day after he's looking at the top 3 picks because they're gonna have like.
Dude, I was hoping for that this year. I thought we could have gotten number 7 from the.
I'm waiting for that to happen. That's gonna be like the first time in NBA history where the championship team ends up with like the first pick in the draft. Can you imagine like the reaction from fans if that happens
Has it
ever?
never happened before? I feel like the Pistons getting Darko was probably like pretty close.
Oh yeah,
mm.
but I mean they didn't win. They won.
They won the year with
after,
Darko.
like the year
Right.
they got him. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it would have to be off a trade. Obviously, I don't know what like trade happened. I don't know. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Good pod.
Yeah. Good pod indeed. Long one. But yeah, we'll close it out there. Thanks so much again for listening to the Change of Pace podcast. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all at Change of Pace Pod. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, and we'll be back at you soon. I think later, early next week, we'll record again and upload. So thanks for listening.